Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. Okay, so alhamdulillah, we have reached the last two surahs of the Quran. So we'll do two of them together, Falaq and Nas, and finish this set of series, inshallah ta'ala, tonight. So if you'd like, you can open up your Mus'haf to the very last page of the Quran. Surah Al-Falaq is 113 and Nas is 114, so 113 and 114, and they are the last two surahs of the Quran. The last two surahs, the reason we're doing them together is because the last two surahs were revealed together, and then the last two surahs also were recited by the Prophet ﷺ in salah together. And then the last two surahs obviously have a very, very, very high level of importance when it comes to seeking protection. As a matter of fact, we find that Aisha radiallahu anha says that once Falaq Al Nas had come down, the Prophet ﷺ, he stopped using other forms of protection. And that's not to say that he completely left them, because we have reports that say that the Prophet ﷺ, he would read upon Al-Hasan and Al-Husayn radiyallahu anhuma, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. And so obviously Al-Hasan and Al-Husayn radiyallahu anhuma are born, and they are in the Madani period. So this surah, the Falaq and Nas, are revealed in late Mecca or early Medina. We'll discuss it. But in any case, the fact that he was still reciting it upon Hasan and Husayn radiallahu anhuma, it means that he did recite other forms. But sometimes when your core purpose turns towards something, then you say that this person's left everything other than this, because they're giving a very high level of importance to it. So it's as if he had left everything else, because there was so much emphasis. Uqbat ibn Amir al-Juhani said that one time I was with the Prophet ﷺ, and all of a sudden we were traveling, me and him, and the clouds came, it turned dark, wind started to blow. I got scared, and I looked towards him, and he said, Uqba, recite the mu'awwidhatain. And this name is used to particularly describe these two surahs, the mu'awwidhatain. Not mu'awwidhatain, as sometimes we mistakenly say, but mu'awwidhatain. Mu'awwidh and mu'awwidhah meaning the singular, and mu'awwidhatain meaning the plural. And obviously mu'awwidh, A'awwadha, A'adha, Ista'adha, A'udhu. All of these are from the same root letters as we'll come to. So in any case, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Ya Uqba, recite the Mu'awwidhatain. So he retreated to the Mu'awwidhatain. And Aisha says that it's as if he would only recite these when for protection when it revealed. And that's why the one thing, if we're not able to recite anything else, all of our du'as, adhkar, everything, the one thing we can recite before we sleep, in the morning, in the evening, as our morning adhkar and evening adhkar, are Surah Al-Falaq and Surah Al Nas, for that reason, because of the importance they hold. The significance of the revelation of Surah Al-Falaq and Nas is also important. So we find mixed reports. Some reports we find that it was revealed later on in Mecca, and some reports we find later on in Medina it was revealed. But we discussed this previously, that what happens at times is that sometimes the ayat are revealed, but then they carry a certain importance at another time. And so some of the companions, they thought that it's being recited as if for the first time, or they hadn't heard it before, or Jibreel did come and tell the Prophet to recite that particular verse, and so they thought it was revealed again. So in either case, it's revealed in some context of the Prophet ﷺ seeking protection, and that's the main kind of theme behind them. The most famous report that we find, and it's an authentic report mentioned by Imam al-Wahidi and others, that the Prophet ﷺ, when he came to Medina, the people of Mecca were not experts in magic or in sihr, right? Witchcraft type of things. But the people of Medina were, the Jews were, the Yahud of Medina. And in particularly the women, as the ayah will mention, because of them simply having been trained, and it was something that they would hold on to. And so what they did is that they took a young Jewish man, and they sent him to the Prophet ﷺ And he said that, get for us his hair. And so the comb that the Prophet ﷺ used to comb his hair with, he stole that comb along with the hair in it. And he brought it to Labid ibn al-A'sam. And this Labid was known as a master magician. And so when he brought it to Labid, then he took it and he tied his knots in it. Uqad, the word is coming, uqda, he tied them into knots. He enchanted specific things, devilish, satanic things that he enchanted on it. And then he threw it in the bottom of a pit, a well. And the Prophet ﷺ, عراه ما لم يكن عراه شيء لم نرى أنه كان يعراه قبله. Right? That's what Aisha says, that it's as if something overcame him that did not overcome him before. There was something different about the Prophet. He would sometimes do something and he would forget it, or he felt sick, he felt ill, and so he had a fever. And this is to show that, this is a whole another topic on its own that we have to perhaps study sometime, is the topic of jinn and sihr, and the reality of sihr, and how does sihr actually happen, and what are the common misunderstandings about sihr and ayn, which is the evil eye. These are topics that deserve their own understanding because there's a lot of misconceptions about them. But the bare fact of the matter is, we do believe that there is a certain ta'thir, there is a certain effect of things. And actually, we as humans, we do, no matter even if you're not religious, we do sense things from time to time. And we say that, I feel like the energy is very bad. I'm not having a good vibe. I don't want to sit here. Something feels wrong. And if you're in a particular, and so things around us, they affect us, right? And we see that all the time. And similarly, when we recite the Quran, when we believe that the Quran actually does have the power to affect us, it does bring barakah. Barakah is something that's tangible of some sort, right? It's supposed to have some effect in our lives. And so the opposite should be true. So it can't be that you read the Quran and you pray your Salatul Fajr and you do your morning adhkar, you go to work and things are somewhat calmer for you, and you wake up and you worship the fire and you read satanic verses, right? And you pray to the devil, and the result will be the same. It's not the same. There has to be a difference. And that's why even across different cultures, across different religions, there is an agreed upon understanding that there is something as evil magic or evil forms of affecting in that sense. In any case, the Prophet ﷺ, it never affected him, and this is also another misunderstanding, generally speaking, when there is sihr done, it's not as if the person ceases to move. It's extremely rare usually. What usually happens is that there is something that's bringing down the person. They can fall sick. And so the sabab, falling sick, is something that we all understand. But if it's linked with that or not, that's something we may not understand. Now the Prophet ﷺ understood because Jibreel came down and told him. So he found out that it's because of that that's bothering you. And that's one of the reasons. So we talk about sihr, and then there's ayn as well, where the Prophet ﷺ, he talks about the fact that the evil persons, and we'll min sharri hasidin idha hasad, we'll come to it. A person who's envious and jealous, they're constant lurking after you and looking after you and talking about you. It does have an effect on you. It can have an effect on you. That's why Yaqub alayhi salam, what did he say to Yusuf? He said, "La taqsus ru'yaka ala ikhwatik." Don't tell your brothers about the dream, because he knows that showing, especially when you display your blessing, there's going to be someone that's going to have hasad. They're going to envy you. They're going to be jealous of you, and that's why. With social media and stuff, we're very open in sharing things, and it's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but we should be careful from time to time about how much of our lives we want to share, because we are developing. There are, on the other side of the screen, there are people who are developing hasad at that time, and the question is, do you want that energy towards you? Because every time you're posting a picture perfect meal on a vacation, it's nice, you're posting your view, there's someone else who's having a bad day, who's going through their newsfeed, and they're just like, look at this person. And so that hasad is boiling in there. So the more you display that, look how happy I am, look at what my spouse did for me, look at how I'm enjoying my time with my children, look at my promotion, whatever it is, whatever good things are happening in your life, the more there is that energy towards you. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Ista'inu ala qada'i hawaijikum bil kitman." In Tirmidhi and others, that he said that help yourselves by hiding the things that you wish to get done. And so in other words, obviously when the thing gets done, you can share it, but when you're planning something, you're working towards something, you don't need to unnecessarily share it and attract all of that negativity. So, in any case, we do believe that there is some ta'thir, there is some effect that happens. So, Labid, he does this, the Prophet ﷺ, he falls sick, Jibreel comes down, he tells the Prophet ﷺ about this. The Prophet ﷺ, he sends Zubayr, Ammar, and Ali, radiallahu anhum, three of them. He tells them, this is the well, take the comb out and bring it to me. The Prophet ﷺ, Jibreel was there, and Ali brought it to the Prophet ﷺ. He sat and he recited these two surahs that as Jibreel taught him, and there were 11 knots tied to the Prophet's hair, and every time he recited a verse, a knot opened. And that's why the companions, they were amazed by it, and that's why we continue to use it for protection. But what exactly does it say? What exactly are we seeking protection from? Why do these two surahs have such an effect? So we'll start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. Say, O Prophet of Allah, a'udhu, I put myself in the refuge. You can say seek refuge, but that would be ista'adha, asta'idhu. So istif'al, when you put something on this pattern of ista'adha or istif'al, it's that I'm seeking something, right? A'udhu simply means I'm already putting myself there. So قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, I'm already putting myself in the protection of the Lord of breaking. Okay, now let's unpack this word a little bit. Falaq. Falaq refers to the daybreak. And the reason we say daybreak is because we kind of feel that the day pierces through the night. وَآيَةٌ لَهُمُ اللَّيْلُ نَسْلَخُ مِنْهُ النَّهَارِ. Allah says that it's as if we skin away the night and the day comes piercing forward. But in reality, this falaq is such a beautiful word because it describes the nature of creation. Everything that comes into existence, it breaks through. It comes out. And so that animal that hatches from an egg, or a human being the way they're born, or the matter of any creation that we think of, it comes out from something else. This phenomenon is literally the phenomenon of creation. I seek refuge in Allah, who is the Rabb, the Master, the one who is literally controlling, who has the ability to oversee all types of things that are happening around me. So this is the first premise, and it's continuing on from Qul Huwallahu Ahad, the very basic, simple Aqidah 101, very simple Surat Al Ikhlas, and continues on from there to establish that relationship. Because I said Allah's one, Allah's Samad, my needs are from Allah, I ask Allah, then I should seek protection from Allah too, right? It doesn't make sense that I go to someone else to seek protection from. A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. So I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. Falaq can also mean, it means the daybreak as well, and it also refers to any type of dynamic change. If you take the majaz, if you take the metaphorical meaning, any type of dynamic change in your life, that Allah has the ability to make that sadness blossom into happiness. That feeling of despair blossom into hope. All of that, Allah has the ability to change all of that, and that's how things move forward. Min sharri ma khalaq. What am I seeking protection from? Min sharri ma khalaq. From the evil that everything Allah created has the capacity of. Everything that Allah created has a capacity of evil, of harm. Right? If you think about anything, you think about water. Water is amazing. It keeps you hydrated. It keeps you going. It's essential for your health. It's essential for you to be alive. It quenches your thirst. You're able to take a shower from it. You're able to cool yourself down from it. You're able to use it. But that water can also drown you. That water can also come in the shape of a flood. That water can also come in the shape of a hurricane, a tsunami, or whatever else is out there. So that same water has the capacity to do you harm, and it has the capacity to do you good. The sun has the capacity to do us good and do us harm. And people around us, and that's the default rule of everything around us. And this was amazingly explained by Al-Tahir ibn Ashur, rahimahullah, one of the great Mufassirun of the Quran, where he said that everything around you has the capacity of evil. What's amazing about Allah is Allah doesn't have the capacity of evil, and what's amazing about the Akhirah is that capacity of evil is gone. That's why there's no hasad in Jannah. That's why there's no desire to harm anyone. There's no sickness in Jannah. All of these things, this other, the alternative side, the negative side is gone in Jannah. And we can't think of that. We don't, people, people say that, I'll get bored. What am I going to do in these 100 houses that I have in Jannah? But you don't understand, Allah will finish boredom itself. Boredom itself is gone. I'll get sad. Well, sadness itself is gone. That emotion is gone. Allah will literally wipe that thing out. This is amazing if you think of it. And so here, but in this dunya, it's not like that. You can't take out your sadness. You can't take out your boredom. You can be the most successful person, the richest person with the best yacht, whatever it is that you have, but you could feel bored. You could feel depressed and down and envious of someone else and feel like your life is horrible, whatever. That capacity is still there. Allah will remove that capacity. That's what's amazing about the akhirah. Min sharri ma khalaq. So everything around us, all the insects and all of the types of harm that's happening around, anything that can harm me, any creation of Allah, I'm seeking protection from it. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. A lot of times the fear that comes over us is in the nighttime. It's in the nighttime. That's when both we feel feelings of fear. We hear a sound and we get spooked. Maybe we're thinking of the night. Maybe we wake up in the middle of the night. Maybe the what's happening on the other side is happening in the night too. When do people think about their most jealous thoughts? It's when you're laying alone in your bed at nighttime. And so all of that negativity, it's happening in the night. Sharri ghasiqin. Ghasiq is used in the Quran for the most darkest part of the night. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل. Allah says, it talks about غسق الليل, the very dark part of it. Waqab itself means to darken as well, the darkest of the darkest part of the night. There's so much going on, the evil that goes on in the night. That's why we have a concept of being extra careful in the night. And that's why if you hear of a robbery in daytime, you say, wait, it happened in the daytime? Because you don't expect it to happen in the daytime. You expect robberies and thefts and kidnappings to happen in the nighttime. You expect break-ins, you expect attacks, and all of these things, there's a thing associated with nighttime. Right? Ask an ER physician what happens on Friday nights and Saturday nights. There's more accidents, there's more people hurt, there's all sorts of crazy things going on. In the nighttime, there's more evil that happens. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he would seek extra protection in the nighttime. He would tell his companions to recite this in the nighttime, and that's why he would have a habit of sleeping early after Isha. He wouldn't linger on La samurata ba'da al-Isha, when he said that there should not be too much time that you waste after Isha hits, because as soon as it's at nighttime, you should try to go to your resting place as much as possible, right? So min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. So everything that happens in the night, we're seeking refuge in Allah from that. وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. This relates to the actual reason of why it was revealed, and from the shar, from the evil of an-naffathat. An-naffathat comes from nafatha, naffathatun, and then from it you have the plural, naffathat. Nafatha means to blow in something. The majority of what magicians do is they blow in things, right? You literally see them read something, they chant it, and they blow it. Uqad, the word uqad is the plural of uqda, which means a knot. Those that are blowing in the knots. Now, Allah didn't teach us to seek refuge from the magic, from the sihr. He said from the magician itself, because 99% of what's happening isn't actual magic the way we think it is. 99% of it is what? It's trickery. They'll show you something and act like it's something else. Even the magic tricks that we see, it's not actually real magic. What is it? It's a trick that they show you. And so, as the Arabs say that, ما ترون إظهاره وخفي سببه, that you can see the actual come, you can see the fire come out, but the actual sabab is the thing is hidden. It's a trick of the magic. He does something quickly, and if you put it in slow-mo, you learn the trick, you can see how he did it. Majority of what these people are doing is that. Then add to that, what are they doing? There's people coming, they're writing nonsense on pieces of paper, they're teaching them nonsense, they're saying, go and recite this, and go and do this, and go and burn this, and put it in your house in the corner and do this. All of this stuff they're telling them is what? It's nonsense. But what have they done? They've made a space in your mind now. Now you're panicked. Now you're scared. Every time something happens, I think it was sihr. I think someone did it, my cousin did it, this person did it. Now this mindset is there. Also, what they'll do is they'll pit you against your family. So the moment you walk in, what will they say? Oh, you have sihr on you. Okay, sihr from who? It's your mother-in-law, right? Whoever it is. They want you to pit you against things. They'll pick a common factor and they'll say it. So a lot of what it is trickery, it's forging things, it's showing things as they're not, and there is a small amount of actual, in terms of actual, that they have the ability to do with your hair, people who've trained in that. There are things we believe that Allah has a system of the ghaib, Allah has a system of the unseen, where those things do happen. But all of the evil of these people, going to them, and it can really mess with a person's head. It can really mess with a person's head. And I'll tell you from experience, people that are usually doing this, they are in a very, very bad position mentally because of everything that they've just accumulated in their head. And so we seek Allah's refuge from all of that, right? Min sharri nafathati fil uqad. And the reason why women are mentioned, nafathat, is because at that time we said women were experts in this. More than men. And so that's what Allah mentions from the witches would be the correct translation. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. And then the last ayah. The core problem of nearly every evil. From the evil of the jealous person when their jealousy shows. Allah didn't say if their jealousy shows. Because the person who's really a hasid, their jealousy, it's not if it's going to show, it's when it's going to show. That's why hasad is actually not an action. Usually things we say that are haram are actions. So we say like hitting someone, right? It's a physical action. But hasad is a feeling. It's an emotion. It's a thought. But if you harbor it in you, that's a sin because of how deadly it is. And hasad can ruin your life, and you can very easily ruin other people's lives. What people can do once they're jealous, it's unimaginable. And we all know stories and have seen that in our friends, families, etc. So we seek refuge from hasad. Whenever the envy, the jealousy will show of the hasad. There's also a difference between hasad and ghibta. These are two words. So we usually say jealousy and envy, but it's not a very good translation. The English language doesn't have an ideal word to translate ghibta. But ghibta, essentially what it means is that what is jealousy if you define jealousy? Jealousy is you seeing someone having something and then wanting that same thing and then wanting that person to lose it. So you see the person with a nice car. You want that car too, but you want the person to get in an accident and lose their car. That's hasad. Ghibta is you want that nice thing, but you're not saying anything bad about them. You don't want them to lose it, you just want it as well. And that's fine. That's fine. That's ghibta. You can want something. But to want someone else to lose it, and then what it leads you to doing, it can be detrimental. So that is Surat Al Falaq. Now Surat Al Nas. The context of Revelation, everything is the same. It's almost a continuation, so we'll finish with it. Surat Al Falaq focused on the external things that scare us. Right? So the night, people around us, the jealous person, the envious person, what Allah has created. Surah Al Nas is about internal. So قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. Here, there was بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, here is بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. From the Lord of all of people, all of mankind. Malik al-Nas. You're reminding yourself of the most important, and the Quran is winding down now, right? It's the last verses. Malik al-Nas, the master, the sovereign. Ilahin Nas, the only one you're able to appropriately call God, Ilah, the one who can be worshipped. Everyone else is falsely worshipped. And so these three things are important because Rabb, Malik, and Ilah all are Rabb. People can use it for other things. Even in the Arabic language, you can say Rabbul Bayt, someone who overlooks and oversees. And then Malik, the sovereign, the king, you can use it for others. But when we say it for Allah, when we say Ilah, and we put all of that in order, Allah is the sovereign, He is the master, and He is the one to be worshipped. And so sovereignty, the ultimate sovereignty is for Allah. The ultimate rububiyyah, the ultimate mastership is for Allah. What are we seeking refuge from here? From internal things. There is external, here is internal. Min sharri al-waswas al-khannas. This is very important. From the evil of waswas. Waswas is someone who does a lot of waswasa. Right? Even the word waswasa tells us a translation. Waswasa. It's a whisper. It's an evil whisper. Al-Khannas, the one who hides. Yani ikhtafa, the one who hides after that. This is referring to the shaitan. Generally what shaitan does, he throws a waswasa and then he runs away. And a lot of what we battle with is what? It's a waswasa in our salah. When we're praying, and there's so many ways shaitan does it. He can do it by putting a doubt in our heart. Now all of a sudden there's a doubt in my mind, there's a doubt in my heart. Or if he's not able to do that, he can make me be lazy and miss out on what I need to do, my salah. Or it can be that I'm doing my salah, but he's now here trying to make me be one who's showing off. Yeah. Or it can be something that you're not showing off, but after you're done with it, you're proud about it. There's so much that shaitan can do. You can study on its own, so much that shaitan can do. I seek refuge from all of his whispers, all of the evil whisperings that he comes to me from. الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. The one who, what does he do? He does waswasa in people's sudur, in people's chests. Allah could have used qulub as well. He uses sudur. Qalb is the heart, sadr is the chest. So it's more common. And here the idea is that not every waswasa gets to your heart. It's usually a temporary thought, and then it weasels out of your head. And so that's also from the mercy of Allah. Min al-jinnati wan-nas, from those that do this waswasa, from the jinn kind and from humankind. It's not only shaitan that gives waswasa, people give waswasa too. An ad that you can see can give you waswasa too. There's a lot of these whisperings and distractions and indications pointing us in all of those directions that mess with us internally. And we have them in our mind and in our hearts. And we're confused about them. We want them out. We're not able to focus. We don't have clarity. Those things we seek refuge from in Surah Al Nas. Surah Al Falaq, the external things, Surah Al Nas, the internal things. With that, we've completed, alhamdulillah, the last surah. I hope, inshallah, this has been very beneficial. The beauty of this is these last two surahs is also in the fact that Allah ends the Quran and Allah begins the Quran by telling us, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. That's what we recited. Here, the last two surahs, we learn how to say a'udhu, how to seek protection in Allah. We learn that this is what we're seeking protection from, and who we are asking for his protection. What are we saying? And so these last two surahs in particular, we should make it a habit to recite them. If we can't recite any other dua in the morning and the evening, these last two surahs are very powerful. We should teach it to our children, talk about them, reflect over them. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, He always protect us from external evils and internal evils as well. Barakallahu wa lakum. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la